Good morning, students. Mr. John here, and I am here to talk to you about area. Okay, before we jump into the math here, maybe sometimes you're wondering, are the things that we learn important? Are these things that I'm going to be able to use when I'm older or use sometime soon? In the case of area, the answer is yes. Let's take a little bit of a look at why area is something that's so important for us to learn. You ever play football before? Well, before a game of football is played, the field needs to be designed. You need a place to play, okay? And if you've ever watched professional football, if you follow a team, you might know that making a football field has some specific rules. It has to be the correct size. If it's too small or too big, the players will feel uncomfortable when they're playing. Maybe their kicks will go too far or not far enough. To keep the game of football consistent, we need to have the same size of field. Now you can see on the screen here, these are the measurement rules for a football field. And we can clearly see that it's two-dimensional, it's flat. That means this space within is the area. And if we follow these guidelines for measurements, we can make a space that is the correct size for a football field. So if you'd ever like to design one, you're going to know how to calculate area well. And it's not just the size of the field itself, but we can go even a little bit deeper. How big should the goal box be? How big should the actual goal be? These are all area. If that's not your thing, how about homes? You guys like living in a nice big house? Before that house is made, someone needs to design it. An architect needs to make a plan for how big that house is going to be and the size of each room, each hallway, each bathroom. You can see here, kind of small, but each one is a plan for how large it's going to be, how many meters, each dimension. Do you want to add something cool to your home, like a football field? Well, hey, if you want to figure that out and see if you have enough space in your yard, in your lot, well, you're going to need to use area to calculate to see if that's possible. Maybe it is. How about city design? Every part of designing a city involves calculation of area. Now this is a 3D picture, but if you're down at the street here looking at it, the actual road itself is flat. And someone needed to calculate how much space they'd need for a road by calculating area. So there's enough room for the traffic to move. But, these days, we got lots of problems, right? There's too much traffic in Bangkok. As you guys know, as you come to school, it takes a long time to get to school sometimes, right? And we've talked about environmental issues before too. Lately, there's been a lot of pollution. How can we solve that problem? Maybe one solution is for people to drive less and ride bikes more. But in Bangkok, there's not really good space to ride bikes. Even if you want to ride your bike, it can be hard. We don't have these nice big sidewalks usually, or perhaps they're in poor condition, so we can't ride bicycles quickly on them. And the road is too full of cars. Well, knowing how to calculate area and measure could help us redesign what a street might look like, to be able to just only have cars, or to also make a bike lane, which is what many futuristic cities around the world are starting to do, including my hometown. They now have bike lanes for people to be able to bike to work using the road. This involves calculation of area. What about all those places you like to go to? Maybe a restaurant, maybe your favorite mall. Do you like going to parks? All of these things need to be designed, calculated, and carefully measured using area. So now